Coach Jason here at the Armory, a little sweaty, day of coaching here, working with some kids today, and as always, working on speed technique and trying to develop speed. As I watch athletes come in and out of the Armory and some of the things that they're struggling with in terms of while they're not running faster, it can run the gamut from not being strong enough, not being stiff enough, being too stiff, a variety of things. So I thought what I would do is release a little video series going over one issue at a time. If you're a parent out there of a youth athlete or a coach, or you are an athlete and you're struggling with getting faster, look at some of these videos, and not every video is going to be an issue that you may deal with or your youth athlete is dealing with. But if it is, and a lot of times the drills that I'm going to offer up can be things you can just easily work in and over time see improvements. Now, I don't make wild promises that if you do this and instantly going to run faster, but anytime you can improve technique even just a little bit, you have a better chance of improving performance. Also keep in mind that it's really easy to spot errors in things. The hard part is offering a fix, if you will. And we want to be careful when doing things like sprinting or anything high velocity to have a lot of commands running through an athlete's head. Okay, let me give you an example. If you tell an athlete that, you can tell it when they're sprinting, they're really tall, and they never really have a good trajectory as they come out, as they start to move, right? Whether it's out of a block or if it's out of a 2-point stance or if it's on a soccer field and they get rolling, after a ball, gets out in front of them, now they got to sprint, whatever it is, that they run very tall, even lean back a little bit. And we'll talk about that technique and what to do about it, or, the issues with that and things that can be done with it later. But if you say something as simple as lean, hey, when you sprint, lean, and you leave it there, you can get things like this, right, where the athlete is leaned over, okay, but now their hips are out, and what was a bad technique before just got worse. So I'm going to be very, very careful in what we say in terms of offering technique changes. And just like with any high velocity movement, it's easy to say the corrections because you see them and just tell the athlete and thinking that they'll just fix it. The reality is, if we're going to make good transfer and still have the athlete going at full speed, in this case, actual linear speed, then drills are going to be very, very helpful. Now, with that said, this first error that I see a lot in athletes that are sprinting actually can be something that can be done while they're sprinting if it's offered as a positive. All right, so here's error number one. Let's just get to it. A lot of times athletes, especially young boys in particular, but I've seen it in girls too, when they sprint, especially towards the end of a longer sprint, they'll start to throw their head around. Right? And they think that throwing their head around, they're running hard and they're running harder, and they think that extra head movement is giving the extra little bit to run faster. And usually it goes with that as their arms start to go side to side across their body. And now they're wasting energy going from side to side instead of going A to B. Okay? We want everything going forward and backwards, not side to side, slowing us down, okay, or slowing the athlete down. So what's the fix? Okay? Now, the obvious one would be, hey, stop moving your head. All right, so the athlete, maybe that works, but now they're thinking about it. And so here we are trying to do something high velocity, and they're thinking about, don't move your head. That's a negative in their mind too. So the tendency is, well, I might, move my head. But at the what really happens is it slows them down because they're concentrating on it. Be an easy fix. So here at the Armory, we have some blue mats that have home plate on them. They're part of batting cage structures when we set up our training here. And so I just tell them, hey, look at home plate and make sure when you're sprinting, home plate is fairly still. It can move just a little bit, right? That's going to be natural. But if it's going like this or like this, their head might be going up and down, or if you see that thing all of a sudden pop up, right? So that means you threw your head back, which is another common error. Kids throw their head back. Usually boys on that one. It must be the idea. When I was a young athlete, I think I probably did that too. I don't know if you think throwing your head back makes you more aerodynamic. I have no idea. But the bottom line is that I'm going to use their vision field to help correct their speed technique in this case. And in this case, even the word relax, you got to kind of teach them what that means. But that could go with that eventually if you tell them what relax just means. Okay, staying in the gas pedal, right? Sprinting hard, right? And physically relaxing the muscles of their neck and letting their arms flow. Okay. Now that's a lot I just gave right there. What I would tell the kid first is, here's what you're going to look at. Here's a cone at the end of the run. I've used the other athletes that they're running with. Hey, here's Steve at the end. Make sure when you see Steve, he should be pretty still as you sprint. If he's going up and down or side to side or all of that, your head is moving around. So keep your focus on something and keep it as still as possible. That transfer, especially the athletes work with here, a lot of them are stick and ball sport athletes, so running a first, right? Running a second. Okay, now there's obviously sporting, especially going to first, a little bit easier to imagine that. There's different things that can happen when you're actually playing baseball and softball on the field. But certainly going to first, something that, hey, keep that base still in your eyes, right? That's an easy thing for them to do. There's no negatives there, like don't do this, don't do that. Okay, I'm telling them just keep this still and run hard into that home plate or run hard to that point or whatever it is. So that's the first technique error. That's probably one of the most simple ones. We'll get into some ones a little more complicated, like knee drive, backside push. A lot of it's just, some of it's just getting stronger. Some of it's just spending more time doing plyos, things like that as well. So it's not always just a straight technique issue like this one is. But we'll talk about maybe some potential quote-unquote fixes to help with each one of those issues. If you're looking for any help with speed, technique, strength conditioning, and general sports performance training, look us up at the Armory in Guthrie, Oklahoma. I have my phone number. More than likely, and this is YouTube, I don't share my phone number on YouTube. But if it's somewhere local, you probably see my phone number in this video description. If not, you can message me for more information about what we're doing here at the Armory.